wanted to jump into, what's happening, like I said, next week. Over in Texas, man, you got the Unified Welterweight Championships. Errol Spence Jr. against Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, former world champion, had the belt, lost the belt to Keith Thurman. Could have had a shot to win another world title against Sean Porter. Ended up losing. He kind of looked. He said he was looking fairly good, but yeah, I've heard that some people feel like he doesn't necessarily have that type of, stamina or something like that, and that he probably could be outboxed in this fight against Errol Spence Jr. I think someone on here said that it could be a repeat performance by Errol Spence as when he fought Mikey Garcia and was able to just outbox him to a clear decision win over at the AT&T Stadium when they fought last year. So, people just feel like Errol Spence, with that accident, just, maybe is like in shambles or something like that. But, he was able to come back here within, 1 year's time to be ready for this fight. So, listen, I'm still leaning towards Errol Spence in this particular bout. All he has to do is just keep himself, at a distance. Because for me, I just don't feel like Danny Garcia has the overall activity with his jab and to move to the inside to kind of close range so that he can use the jab and then use that and get more power shots off that jab. So I feel like it's going to be a repeat performance of Errol Spence versus Mike Garcia. Matt, you basically saying the same thing, right?
Yeah, because if you look at Danny Garcia, he's very economical, is what I'll call it, with his punches. He doesn't fight for 3 minutes in every round, and I think that the activity of Errol Spence is just going to end up overwhelming him because he just doesn't throw enough to bother Spence. The only wild card is, can Errol Spence take a shot? That's what we need to know. How is his body going to react to the trauma of getting hit after the car accident? I don't think he's going to get hit clean with anything per se, as long as he stays on the outside and boxes. He has all the physical advantages against Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia he is 5'9", yeah, but he has like short arms for a welterweight. I think his reach is like 68 inches, something like that. Now, Errol Spence, he's a legit 5'9", almost 5'10", and he has a 72-inch reach. And he's naturally the bigger guy. He actually started basically at junior middleweight and worked his way down to welterweight consistently. And as we know, Danny Garcia started basically at welterweight, went down to 140, and then came back up to welterweight. So he's basically naturally the smaller man. Now, is Errol Spence going to want to prove he'd be that walk you down, dig to the body kind of guy, get you out of there kind of guy? Is he going to want to do that? If he does, then that plays right into Danny Garcia's strengths. So I'm anticipating that he puts on a boxing clinic for the audience.
Yeah, he's there with a like you said, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach, and Danny's there with a 68.5-inch reach, and Danny's coming in there. They had a pretty extensive career at 140 pounds. Basically, it's like at 147 coming down to 140, and then getting back to 147. While Errol Spence is there pretty much around like 154, going down to 147 when he could get his big as he probably pull off being at middleweight, which will likely happen within the next 2 years or so. He might go up to middleweight, but right now he's down at 147, performing at 147, and he's just gonna use his reaches and overall activity to just throw the jab and just keep himself out of range from Danny Garcia, because, like you said, if he tries to go in there and try to work the body, then that gives Danny Garcia a better chance, especially if Errol Spence tries to go out there and try to go down with the right hand, and then Danny just releases like a left hook. That could, be a power punch that could affect Errol Spence. So, as long as Spence just keeps himself out of range and uses his jab and just keeps Danny Garcia resetting, then he could pretty much have an easy night if he wants to. Now, if he wants to, make a statement and try to stop Danny Garcia, then that would be a whole different, story, because you don't basically stop Danny Garcia. He's never been stopped. So if Errol Spence does, get back in the ring and gets a performance where he ends up knocking out or stopping Danny Garcia, that would be very huge on his docket if he's able to get that spectacular win come on Saturday, man. But after that, man, I was like, I don't know where Danny Garcia would go after this fight if he loses. I mean, unless if he gets a rematch with a Keith Thurman or Sean Porter, or maybe fights Yordenis Ugas. Like, how would he be able to get himself to the level where he would compete for a world title again? Because there's no other avenue for him to do that. So there's a whole lot on the line for Danny Garcia in this particular bout. At least I feel like it is. And I feel like he knows that. So that's kind of like how he's coming in there, and he looks like he's in, great physical condition. But as far as the endurance thing, I think that, you kind of question his overall endurance when it comes to, what he was doing in the workout. So remains to be seen how that's going to turn out here for this pay-per-view event at AT&T Stadium over in the Dallas area.